finally reassembly time. We finally got all the pieces to this stupid puzzle. This is what we were waiting on longest and the cause of all this trouble. That's the original valve retainer. That's the upgraded one from 2008 and onward. Very, very tough to spot from here, but maybe it isn't that tough. This one is obviously bigger than this one. It's bigger, it's built stronger. The valve guide has been pressed in at the machine shop. Now it's just a matter of getting all the valves back in, and then we have to actually do a valve set on it. Make sure all the clearances are in spec. There's still a lot of work to do before this thing goes back in.
12 seconds later.
Well, I think that's a pretty good start for tonight. Got all the exhaust valves in. This intake is just sitting in there loose right now. This is actually the one that dropped, so it's just been sitting in there since I got it back from the machine shop. It's just about midnight, so I think that's a good place to call it for now. Get the rest of the intake valves in the morning and carry on.
The next day.
Alright, back to work. We got exhaust valves in. Time to get some intakes in there. New retainers, like 12 bucks a piece. One down, 7 to go. That's it. We've got valves again. Now we've just got to do a valve set on the bench here. This is definitely going to be a first for me. I've done a lot of valve sets, but this is the first one I'm actually going to do on a bench. Just measuring up all the shims right now. Once the shims are all measured up, then I'll be bolting in the cams right here on the bench and measuring valve clearances. Here we go, we got all the lifters in. Exhaust camshaft bolted in right now. Just checking valve clearances. So far, I noticed that on the valve that dropped right here, I reused the shim that was in there when it dropped, just for measuring purposes to see if I'm going to be way out. Since everything in this valve is new, the valve, the spring, the seat, the retainer, everything. And the valve seat itself has been ground a bit to fit this. I thought for sure this was going to be way out. I thought there was going to be like no clearance here and I have to go to a really thin shim to get it back. But it turns out that even with that old shim in there, I'm still within spec. I'm on the very edge of it, but I'm still in spec. So I'm going to replace that shim anyway because I'm not reusing that worn, damaged shim. But I don't really need to change its size very much. I can stick with this, basically the size that's in there. So far I think I only see one exhaust valve right here that's out of spec that's going to need to be adjusted. And I've still got 4 more to check right here.
A few minutes later.
More progress. Just finished up the headwork. Got the valves adjusted. Had to pick up two shims for it. One obviously for the valve that dropped and another on the exhaust side that was a little tight. Now I'm just cleaning up this mess to get the head ready to go back on. Keep moving forward. Look at that. We've got a cylinder head. We've got a cylinder head on a bike. All in place with a new gasket. The head is torqued. And the starter clutch assembly is all in place. Next up, final install for the camshafts. That's it. Cams in, timed, covers on. Even got the coils down in there now. We're in the home stretch. Basically all of the engine related work is done, except for the bottom end. Just for safety purposes, I'm going to drop the oil pan off and make sure nothing made its way down there. I may have a functioning bike by the weekend.
The next day.
And it is a new day. We've already had some progress here. Drained the oil, dropped the oil pan off. Everything looked good inside. None of the debris from the top end made its way down there. So, new oil pan gasket. Put that back on. Just popped the oil filter off. Just about to spin a new one on. Then I think we will hang the exhaust back on. Boy, I wish it was going as quick as it is for you guys watching. Exhaust is in place. The rad is loosely in place. Starting to get the plumbing for the cooling system all routed in and snugged in. Surge tank. We're getting closer. Starting to get anxious here. Alright, the cooling system is in place and mostly filled, ready to run. Throttle bodies are in. I'm just about to put the airbox in place. This thing should be ready to run in the next little bit. I'll probably start off by cranking it up and trying to prime up the oil system. Getting close. If it flies apart, I want it on video. So. It's not going to start, obviously. No fuel. But nice. Just wanted to prime up the oil in it, and it sounds really well. Alright. Tank's in place, fuel's primed. Cross your fingers. There she is in all her naked glory. I figured there's no use getting out with body work on right now. Got to be able to see if I'm springing a leak anywhere. Everything looks good so far. I ran it up the temperature until the fan came on. Looks like the cooling system has bled pretty well. Now I just got to do small rides, gradually going further and faster until I regain some confidence in this thing. Until I'm pretty sure it's not gonna leave me limping home to get the truck again. So far so good. Let's give her a little snap of acceleration here. Fastest Corolla is like nothing. Well, I got a few kilometers in and everything looks good so far. Only one minor thing I've noticed is cam chain seems a tad more noisy than it was before. More than likely the tensioner hasn't extend it out to the original position it was in before all this. Oh! The same thing kind of happened with the KLX the other day when I adjusted the valves on it. The tensioner didn't go right back where it was in the beginning, and it got a little noisy. I had to physically go in there and push it to the next notch. See if this one straightens itself out. I don't imagine I'll have to do it to this one too. But anyway, things are looking good for once. I shouldn't say that too loud though, because that's usually when something horrible is about to happen. Quick stop at the softball field here to check for leaks. Everything looks good. No complaints. I think today is the 27th. Oh, look at you. Moron. I think today's the 27th, so this happened on the 2nd. So we're down for 25 days. 25 days to pull the head off and replace a valve guide, I guess. It's not bad, but the worst of it is waiting for parts. I spent, weeks of that time period waiting for parts. The actual time I spent working on the bike could have been done in, 3 or 4 days maybe, spread out, not 3 or 4 days straight. But anyway, that's about the end of this one. So if you're still watching, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notification bell to get notified whenever I upload new videos, and maybe you'll get to see this thing with fairings again. I'll catch you later.